So I first met Josh when I had just moved down to Greenwood, South Carolina. And when I was told about the opportunity to move down to Greenwood, I think I literally hung up the phone because I was not interested at all in living in a small town. And obviously it worked out because I met Josh, but I remember the first time we really had a conversation, I was pretty new to Greenwood, getting my bearings, getting used to all these southern accents, and kind of jealous I didn't say y'all. But when I got to talking to him, I realized he was not from Greenwood or South Carolina. He was from Ohio. And so I'm looking at this guy who's from the Midwest with this really strong southern accent. So as a result, I had to make fun of him ruthlessly, that he had this fake southern accent. And I think that kind of started just our great friendship. We had, you know, this banter going back and forth. He was a Big Ten fan. Unfortunately, he's an Ohio State fan. So we were the only two people in this small town that were from the Midwest who really cared about Big Ten. And so our friendship really grew from there. But I think what was greatest was that we always had this great chemistry between us. And I loved hanging out with him. And I just remember in my office he would stop by. And it was like the moment he walked away, I would remember I needed to ask him something. So I'd scream out my office door, "Hey Josh," and he would come running around the corner. And this would happen probably 20 times a day. And he's like, "I'm not doing this anymore. You know, I can't just call my name and I come running." But it continued. So it was great to have someone else from the Midwest, someone I could, you know, tease, and ultimately someone who I loved coming to work to see every day.
We were going out for my coworker's birthday, and I picked her up, and we went and hung out, and went to a few different bars, and then as the night progressed, we were flirting and having fun, hanging out, and then the last place we were at, I kissed her, and it was needless to say, an exceptional kiss, and it was earth-shattering.
I guess it wasn't an official first date, but Josh rides motorcycles, and so we would call him like Biker Boy when girls referencing him, not to his face. And he wanted me to ride his bike. So if you know my father, you don't ride motorcycles, you don't get on them, you kind of look away when they ride by. So he came over and on his bike and wanted to take me, and I wanted to be the cool girl that was totally fine with riding bikes. And so he got me this big helmet, and we went around the apartment complex. And after I gave him the, you know, thumbs up that, oh, I was fine, this is totally normal to be riding on a death machine, we started riding around town. And it actually was a ton of fun. Like, I had the biggest smile on my face the entire time. Like, I really wasn't scared at all, like, even if there were cars nearby. And I think it's just how I feel when I'm with Josh. Like, I feel safe when I'm with him. I always have fun. And I remember he would take his hand and hold mine. And I liked it just because I liked him so much, and I wanted him to like me too. But I might have to say that the best part was when we finally got off the bike, because we ended up at Brewster's, which is a phenomenal ice cream place in Greenwood. So that was a great ending to the first date.
After Jennifer and I had been together for about a year and a half or so, I knew it was time to take the next step in our relationship. I had purchased a ring, and I wanted to ask for Mr. and Mrs. Florence's permission and blessing to ask Jennifer to marry me. And so I flew into Chicago, and Mr. Flo picked me up from the airport, and I invited him to go anywhere he wanted to eat for breakfast. And for this particular important event, he chose Denny's. So the same day that I'd asked for Mr. Florence's blessing, I knew that my time was short, and I didn't know when I'd get a chance to see Jennifer again. I had made reservations at the Metropolitan Club for that evening, and I really wanted to take our relationship to the next level. So prior to dinner, I had prepared a slideshow that basically just showed pictures from our childhood and growing up, and then our time together since we've known each other and been dating. So after the slideshow, we went to dinner, and at that point, if you ask Jennifer, she'll tell you she was really disappointed because when I checked my coat, she didn't think there was any way I could have the ring on me. And little did she know that I had planned this all along, and the ring was securely placed in my vest pocket. So throughout dinner, we were talking, and you know, she thought I was just kind of being all lovey-dovey, but the whole reality was I was setting her up to ask her to marry me. And after we finished our meal, I got down on one knee, presented her with the ring, and asked her to spend the rest of her life as my wife. The other part about this conversation is that Mr. Flo had been prepared for the question I was going to ask by Mrs. Florence. So he knew it was coming, and he was prepared. So after I asked the question, you know, he took a little while to get around to it, but finally he gave me his blessing and welcomed me to the Florence family. I'll never forget this day, as it was the funnest time I could have had hanging out with Mr. Florence.
Ooh. Arisha's on her way over.
Oh, okay.
I love the pic.
The what?
I like the clips.
Where are we headed, Jennifer?
To crash a wedding.
Can you elaborate?
We are crashing a wedding to hear DJ Jimmy.
And what's our story if anyone asks us?
Stephanie, your story is that you met them in France, and you're going to say your name is Stephanie. My story is that I'm with my boyfriend. Don't tell Josh. So what I like most about Josh is probably not one thing. I mean, we've been such good friends from the beginning, and we have such great chemistry that I really just enjoy spending any time with him. And he's really good looking, which is always a plus. But something that's really important to me has always been my family and my friends. And my sister even said, I feel like it wasn't an outsider coming into the family. It was like a family member who just hasn't been around and now he's here. And so it's great to have like a seamless transition of Josh to my family. And I love being able to join his family as well. And so there's just so much I like about Josh. And even when it comes to the things that maybe Josh isn't perfect about, it's almost like I love him so much that it doesn't even matter. And I'm so excited to get married because I really have no doubts that he is the one for me, and it makes me so much more excited about our life together. Give me your hand.
I know I'm in good hands.
You are in good.
We sent that to Josh.
Oh, she thinks it's a picture.
What's up, buddy?
What do you think of your hair so far?
Smooth and so.
An
Didn't
idea
match.
of
I see now.
this is better.
I just like that style a lot too, then.
Do you think it's too poofy?
No, because I think, like she said,
Poofy
when you
where?
put the...
Like this?
No.
Wowzer.
You like it?
It's really pretty.
The one thing I look forward to the most about being married to Jennifer is knowing that I'll get to spend the rest of my life every day with my best friend.
What I'm looking forward to the most, being married to Josh, I guess there's a few things. I can't really pinpoint one. I think the most obvious is just being together. You know, we're the best of friends. We know so much about each other, and I think that really means a lot when you try to improve yourself and continue to grow as a person and as a partner and as a couple. So I think that's going to be an obvious benefit. I think one of the things I'm kind of most excited to in the future is to tell him that I'm pregnant. Not that I'm pregnant right now, but we have this ongoing joke of, oh, I'm gonna get you pregnant and we're gonna have twins and I'm gonna fall forward because I'm gonna be so big. But I see the way that he's with Nathan, I see the way that he's with Aiden, and he loves babies and he can't wait to have them. And so although there's gonna be a period of time that it's just gonna be the two of us, he's gonna go crazy and he's gonna be so great about it, even when I'm, you know, he actually even told me that he'll paint my toenails when I'm too big to bend over. So it's gonna be a really fun time just being the two of us, going out golfing, you know, grilling out just the two of us. But I know when we are ready to start a family, that's probably gonna be the highlight in the marriage for him. So as a result, it's gonna make me very excited too.